Hi there. In this episode, I'm going to have a special guest come over and give us a hand with our aquariums. See, we're going to add indoor plants in our aquariums, um, both our filtration, added filtration, and the purpose of them, well, is to not just make the room look nicer. Also, it's going to purify the air within your fish room, and it's going to help with the nitrogen and the overall health of your water in your aquariums. So stay tuned, everyone. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and think about subscribing. It really does help. Hi there, and welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. Today I've got my good friend and special guest, Digger Jim. He's over to help me with some plants, not in the aquarium, but in my filtration and well, just over the aesthetics of the fish room. We want to add some more plants. They're your house plants, and why not ask somebody who, well, is an expert, being that Jim is a professional gardener, landscaper, and works full time in a greenhouse. So I was kind of hoping you could help me with some plants, and let's get to her right after this. Apparently, I'm doing a commercial break. When really, it's a beer break. It's all about friendship and having fun in the hobby. And what better to do that, over a beer on a relaxing Sunday?
So that's why I'm not an expert. I don't try and enforce my opinion or my approach on anybody. I just like to express and share how I've been doing things.
Well, I'm the same way in the fish.
Yeah.
I never proclaim to be a expert. I do have decades of experience and some knowledge, but I'm always up for learning something new or hearing someone else's thoughts and and giving it a try, or going, okay, I've tried that, but I'll change it around a little bit and try it a little different.
Well, that's what the best contribution you can make is sharing your own experience.
Exactly, and this way, hopefully, we're going to try some things that you probably never thought of adding to your aquariums. Now, everyone's done pothos, but we're going to change it up a bit in a way you probably, well, didn't think of doing it.
Maybe not have thought of certain cuttings that would do well in water.
Yeah, and who knows? Later on this season, we're going to try some impatiens in the filter because, well, they love wet feet. They don't need a lot of light, and it might be fun and add some color.
Yeah, sure. Experiment. You got to try new things.
Exactly. Well, let's look at some of the plants you brought and some of the ones I have.
Yeah. By the way, is it nighttime behind us?
No, I just want these guys to breed, so that's another video I'm still working on, trying to get these Aurelius barbs to breed. So I'm trying to make it like a full moon or nighttime most of the day, and then, hey, you never know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Everything's trial and error.
Yeah. Just checking out my favorite fishscape, aquariumscape, landscape that Chris has done.
Aquascape.
Aquascape, thank you. Anyway, I love that tank. We're just going to take a quick tour around the fish room. Some of the plants that Chris already has going. I gave Chris this piece sometime last summer. It's tetrasperma. Doing fairly well in water. Not too bad at all. It's actually looking better than the mother plant that I have at home. Over here, this is a pothos. There are so many different pothos. I don't know the names of all of them, but it has done really well. Starts up here, all the way down across this tank, and comes down here and pops up onto this tank here. Got another chunk of it grown out of that filter there. It's nice. Kind of going down the side, didn't survive too well. And another piece of it in here. It also looks like there's a piece of philodendron lemon lime in there. Taking a closer look at it and talking to Chris, that is philodendron lemon lime. I gave that to Chris last year. And it's interesting, in lower light, it's not quite as yellow and brilliant. You see a lot of it's rather green, but that's what gave it away to me, was the shape of the leaf and that lighter yellow color. Cool. Move along a little further over here in the corner. This is a piece of my philodendron Tahiti. Not doing quite as well, so I've made some suggestions to Chris, and we're going to alter it just a little bit and see if it'll come along a little bit better. But it's a beautiful leaf. It's a beautiful plant. Nice one. Over on this side of the room, Chris has another piece of apothos in this filter here. Now there's nothing in this tank, so Chris picked up a couple of really cool looking boxes. So we're going to suspend those in the aquarium in the water and put some new cuttings in them. And this will help to keep them stable. They won't be floating around, and hopefully they'll get well established in there. He's got two of this style. One of them, we're going to sandwich an air stone between a couple of scrubbies and set that inside. And hopefully that'll give it sort of like a medium the roots can grow into and get themselves better established and stable. These scrubbies will act as a filter as well. They'll collect some debris and whatnot, and not necessarily turn into soil, but perhaps act as soil, and the roots will absorb even more nutrients out of, I don't want to call it sludge, but it'll probably end up with sludge. So it'll be a nice experiment, see how that works. And then over here, we have a different style. Chris got a different style of hanger for the plants. If you can see that, got a bunch of slots in it, so we can stick several stems along this, let them hang into the water. And we've installed an air stone directly below it, which is going to improve the circulation around the root mass as it grows. Just to backtrack around the room slightly, I showed you this box before. The one in the other tank there with this massive, beautiful shubbies in it. We're going to put the scrubbies and air stone in the basket. This one we're going to leave it empty. So it'll just be stems and root. And it's also suspended just above an air column. So it'll be interesting to see which performs better. I did bring over some new cuttings for Chris today. They were in my yard last summer, and those of you that watch Chris regularly would have seen his hailstorm video. A lot of my plants took some serious damage. They're not in the greatest of shape, but we decided we'd do some cuttings, see how they perform in the water. Being slightly damaged, a little bit weaker, will they perform better in the aquariums? So I did bring a few over. This is apothos. The leaves are very tiny. It's new growth after the hailstorm. This is called global green. Now those leaves should be about that big. So hopefully we'll be able to make that perform well, or give it a better chance. This piece here is done well. It didn't go outside. This is off of my pearls and jade. It's in a powder room, very low light. And this is the tip of the growth of the stem. This stem here is probably about 8 feet long. That is more true to pearls and jade as I know it. This leaf over here, the speckled ones, are more like a crimson queen to me. So I find it interesting, the different patterns in the leaf that are coming out. We'll see how it does in the aquarium. Still a low light situation. Do we get pearls and jade, or do we get this more mottled look? So that'll be interesting to see. This is apothos, and I believe it is Brazil. And I say that just because of the coloration in the center of the leaf. Once again, that leaf should be much larger, heart-shaped, and more striking variation. Stick it in the aquariums. We'll see, once again, how it performs. If I know I'll be able to rejuvenate the plant that I have. Maybe I can bring some better cuttings over later on. This is, I'm not sure what variety, Tradescantia. It's in a very low light situation at my place, once again being neglected. It should have some really striking purple in the leaf, like the underside of the leaf. So this will take off, Tradescantia. It'll root in almost anything. This should be an incredible addition to the foliage scape that Chris is trying to achieve. I have another piece of Tradescantia in here, and this one has a very, very furry leaf. Doesn't show it too much right now, but it does have a silver look and a beautiful fuzz or pubescence on the leaf. This will also do very well in the water. It will root readily. It'll be very happy. And of course, we'll give a shot with some spider babies. I just trimmed this off a plant today. We'll pop these in here and there, and we'll see how they do. That's another pothos I do not know the name of, but the shape of the leaf is just incredible. Solid green, nice shiny leaf, beautiful heart-shaped leaf on it. That should do very well. This here is a philodendron. It's looking pretty strange. Once again, been a bit ignored, so the leaves aren't coming out the way they should be. Low humidity, lack of water. Beautiful red leaf on it, great shape. Nice red petioles. This should do very well. This should take off as well. This here is philodendron burl marks. Excellent leaf shape.
Ooh, I like that.
Solid green color. The leaf shape is really nice. I've had this growing up on a post, just a cedar post, and I've had it just solid all the way up. And the leaves are just poking out and hanging down. Just fantastic. I've had this one in water, I think before Christmas. I stuck this in water. It's doing quite well. You see a growth point here, and then that'll take off, and there's another growth point down under here. I'm probably going to situate this on one of the tanks where I can get it crawling out over a piece of driftwood. This would probably end up growing around the entire room. Beautiful plant, easy to grow. I think it'll do great in water. We'll find out. Chris also brought down a bag of cuttings, and let's just see what he's got in here. Got a few stems, nice long stems of some pothos. Did that come from your living room? Yes, it did. So he seems to have a few cuttings of that.
And a few from my mother's.
That'll be fantastic. That'll look great. It's going to be a jungle in here.
The idea.
I think that's the same.
It is.
That's
They're all
the
the
last
same.
one. So there's three of them the same. Nice, really nice looking cuttings. Lots to work with on these. And a piece of ivy, which should do well. There's a couple of pieces in here. They'll do well in water. I'm not sure how long they'll last in water. They might just get to a point where we want some soil. But those will definitely root in water. And I don't know, with an aquarium, they might last a lot longer because there's a lot of nutrients in the water in the aquarium, as opposed to sticking it in the vase to root it. And I've seen them with masses of roots in a vase, just plain water.
Well, maybe
I think
on
these
that
do
one,
really well.
we'll do the with the scrubbies, where it's got something to grab a hold of.
Yeah.
And it might be able to grab some dirt particles or suspended,
Sure.
pardon the expression, crud.
Yeah. But even like if this was laying across a piece of driftwood, if it was misted regularly, it might even root onto the driftwood.
Oh, that's an idea.
Having said that, the pothos should do the same thing. So Chris and I are trying to decide right now where to put different cuttings in his fish room. I think the pothos that Chris brought down, we're going to set over on the aquarium. Got a little bit less light. I know you don't
Well,
want
it's got a
Chris
lot
standing
less
in front of it, but
It's got a lot less light.
the lighting there is a lot less.
Yeah, I just don't want to put too much lighting in here because, one, it's much harder to film with the lighting, right? And two, it'll just build algae and take away from the aquarium. So it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't scenarios. So I'm going to go with what lighting I have. I may end up having to put one more light. There is a light that's there, but I'd have to buy another bulb, which is no big deal. But who knows? We'll see how they do without it. some of my lights are up a bit, and I just want the plants basically to grow along the top of the tank, like over here. This pothos, been there a while, really hasn't done much because that's probably the lowest light area in the entire room. So
The thing you have to consider too, you've got some plants coming along under here, they're going to shade your plants in the aquarium.
which is
You got to
fine,
consider that
which
as
is
well.
fine in that tank because they're all fake.
Yeah, so it's
And
fine here.
that's fine on this. Who knows? On this tank here, if I get my wish, it might be another tank of barbs.
It's just that one tank there.
I think we'll be fine because
that's
that's lit up.
Set for nighttime.
I've got it set up for nighttime. It does get really bright over here. And again, this is set up so hopefully they'll breed. But in 2 days, this will be bright.
Yeah.
This is sitting up nice and high. It's a couple inches off the tank.
You do get a fair amount of reflection of light off the glass as well.
Yeah, so it's not going to go gangbusters, but I'm thinking between that and all the oxygen that's coming up.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see how that adds to the root mass.
Yeah.
Affects the plants.
Cool.
The thing that I was saying earlier about light coming down is it hits the top leaf surface.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more the bottom leaf surface. So
That's
if we arrange the plants just so, we might have some better success. Just angle it so that the leaf surface is facing the light.
Okay, well.
So we'll just kind of turn it a little bit. So we'll get to that.
Well,
we'll start putting some plants out.
Why don't we do this one first and see what we come up with?
Sure. Just going to do a couple of snips of these pothos cuttings that Chris brought over. One thing I do is I remove most of that internode. I just don't want all that stem there. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to rot. So I'll chop that out. So I'm left with the leaf node. And you can see the bump there. That's where the root's going to come from. Okay. I don't need all this beyond that point because it's just going to get mushy and rot. I'm just trimming up a couple of them. And I can also do this. Pop that leaf off. That's going to end up underwater. You don't really need the leaf or that much of that leaf material in the water. It's not going to really do anything either. I just want to make sure that I've got a node, a little bump, and that's going to grow great for us. So we're going to slide that in here. Once again, on this tank, that's the holder that Chris got for it. Sits in like that. Pop it on the aquarium wherever you want, and you just slide the cutting into the opening there, and it'll support itself. Just took the piece of pothos, pearl, and jade. Chris has a chunk of driftwood. It's actually on the outside of the aquarium. So we just took the base of the stem into the tank itself, no holder or anything, and it's just supporting itself up against that piece of driftwood. I think it's going to do quite well.
And there's lots of light. Just with this one in particular, cleaned out the centerpiece of the scrubby pad. I'm going to drop this air stone in, and then put one on top of it, like so. And then
you'll get your friend Jim.
I'll get my friend with 2 hands, put that in there, and then jam it down.
Bit of a tight fit.
Yeah, and see if we can get it right to the bottom. Perfect. And this is going to act as a filter, and hopefully something that the roots can get a hold of. And being that this is raised a bit, I'm hoping that'll be enough light. And there'll be plenty of oxygen for the roots to grow, right?
I just put that in there.
And this one here has the suction cups, so it should work. And I may even try a piece of Java fern in there as well, to see if that'll take.
Yeah, it's a little crooked.
That's the Brazilian one, right?
Yeah, my
really
impressive pothos Brazil.
I like the coloring though.
Now,
That's going to be cool once it gets big.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful foliage. I'm assuming it's Brazil. it is possible that it's Rio. And we'll know once we get some nice mature leaves on it. There's a slight difference in the variegation between the two.
I don't know my plants, so
So it doesn't
this
really
is why I'm
matter.
relying on you.
So we'll just call this a plant.
Yeah, if need be, I'll get another bulb for this light here, and it'll really take off.
Just kind of wedge them down the side of those scrubbies gently.
Guess it really wouldn't hurt if I did get another bulb for the sun blaster here.
It wouldn't hurt, but I understand your concern about
Extra algae, but
algae.
if
growth
these guys are
and-
eating up the nutrients, algae shouldn't be as much of a problem.
No. I'm also going to put in the Tradescantias in here. And they'll take anywhere.
That's the wandering thing.
Yeah. Yes, the wandering thing.
Oh, I don't know what to call it anymore.
Neither do I.
I've never been politically correct, but I don't need people getting mad at me either.
Well, yep, my favorite tank. We've done nothing there.
That's because it's got Odessa barbs and I like the scape on it.
It's beautiful. I love it. Showed you before, pearls and jade. Hopefully it's got some good support against that driftwood.
Yeah, we've done nothing to secure it. It's got lots of oxygen underneath it. It should do something. This this one here, there is a piece of apothos that is rooted inside that filtration.
I see it now right in here.
Yeah, the roots just go nuts inside the filters, which you have to disturb, unfortunately, when you clean them.
Yeah, we didn't do much over here. We just added a piece of this ivy.
See if it takes off.
It's going to root okay in the water. We'll see what it does with the lighting.
Well, let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah, this is one of those containers we showed previously that hang on the back of the tank. Piece of pothos, global green, philodendron, Bloody Mary, another pothos I don't know the name of, piece of a spider plant, Tradescantia. That should be interesting, and it should all root. Most of that's going to root readily in water. We'll just see how long they survive in the water. And they should, because there's a lot of nutrients in fish water or aquarium water. A couple of Chris's pothos cuttings. Just kind of set them in there in the filter. Once again, they'll be fine in the water. So,
this is the interesting one.
yeah, a couple little spider babies. We got one sitting in here just in the top of the water, and one here we just kind of wedged into a hole in that that bracket.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
It'd be really neat.
it will be.
It'd be neat if we could get moss to grow here, like an Irish moss.
Here's an idea. I should bring some moss over from my place.
Yeah, if we can get some moss because it's nice and wet usually here.
Yeah.
Or I can make sure it stays wet. It'd be neat if we could get,
That'd be
and
cool.
it'd be helpful for the water.
Yeah.
Same with if we can get it on the.
Yeah, if
on
you
the
can get
driftwood.
you gotta have to dip one end of it into the water to keep some moisture on it.
Yeah,
Get that growing up there,
that'd be
that'd be
awesome.
cool.
So-
So what do we got here?
Well, you moved
Yeah, I moved
the philodendron.
Tahiti out of the filter. Its roots weren't doing too great. So no, I just set the roots that it had started into the back part of the aquarium there. We'll see if that makes any difference for it or not. In behind that is the piece of, oh, that's dusty. Piece of my philodendron burrow marks. Sort of propped up against the driftwood again. Hopefully it'll come out over top of the driftwood.
Yeah, I'd be really interested if we could get some, baby tears or Irish moss or something to grow along there.
I think
That'd be
we can.
awesome.
Yeah, I think we can. It's just a matter of keeping some water on it. Over here, what did we do? Some more of Chris's pothos. Some Tradescantia. That's the fuzzy leaf one, whatever name it is. This one's supposed to be purple. It'll come back. Piece of Chris's ivy. And a little chunk of Brazil. Brazil, not Brazilian.
Oh,
Brazil.
so it's not like Brazilian wax or Brazilian bikini or
No.
yeah,
Why are you my friend? Really?
a comic relief.
No, because you know a lot about fish.
And you like to torment me. So.
And I do. You're an easy target.
Well, I'm a fun-loving target
Anyway,
that gives back.
That's either Brazil or, like I said, Rio. We'll
Come
know
on, Brazilian
Well-
sounds better.
We'll know once it
Admit
gets
it.
going.
Light gets sorry again for the blue light, but I'm on a mission here.
Yeah, once the light improves here, this should be fine. It's a couple more pieces of Chris's pothos. I think it'll survive well in low light. bit higher than what we got going on now, but I think it'll be just fine.
And we got
there.
lots of room that we could, there's still a couple holes that we could add a few more in here.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if my plants were in better shape, I'd have a lot more cuttings for you. So in time, once I get the plants rejuvenated and they get over the hailstorm, I'm still cutting hailstorm damage off. It's February, the hailstorm was in August. It takes some time.
Yeah.
My bird of paradise, my plumerias, my ferns, or not my ferns, my palm trees.
Well,
They suffered a lot of damage.
Even if
Same
I
with the
put
pothos and smaller plants.
that clip-on light and put it over here.
Yep.
I was thinking this would be a cat's butt. Yeah, what the hell? It's just me. The cat's ass. If I could put impatiens on that, if I could get some plants in there with some color, and I know impatiens love low light and wet feet, I think that would be just awesome in there. And even if I use this one here, I've got a couple of these cartridges. Right now there's activated carbon in that one, but I could fill that full of some hydroponic media in there, being the clay balls or whatever they're called. Well, I want to thank Jim for coming over. Cheers, buddy. You know, we did the best we could with what we have. I bought 3 little, what would you call them, containers, holders for the plants.
Hanger things.
Yeah, and we filled them up. We still have a little bit more room. We can add a few more plants.
Yep.
Surprisingly,
yep.
We've got a lot of plants throughout the fish tanks. I really want to thank you, especially the tips about, you know, the cutting and cutting it back to the nose.
No problem. Yep.
You know, great.
All I have is my knowledge, experience to share, and I love sharing it. And if it helps you out, that's great. Helps your viewers out.
That's the main thing, right? Is, you know, sharing knowledge, and you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Some of this is going to be experiments. Some we know it's going to take off.
There's also just a note there. When my plants do improve, because right now they're kind of crappy after last summer, I'll be bringing over some more different varieties, so you get some more color and more variety in what you've got going on right now.
Definitely not going to say no to it.
No, of course you won't.
Sure. Anyways, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. It means a lot, and it really does help out the channel and the video. Think about subscribing and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Well, thanks again, Jim. Appreciate it. Cheers. And we'll see you guys real soon. Bye for now.
Bye.